perfect game for Roy Halladay.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Phaithful Phanatics podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Davis, and today the gang is back together. Finally, Coach Ginn is done basketball season for a little while, so you can check all of us out on Twitter. Our @names are right on your screen, but I'm just going to get right into it, man. Happy NBA trade deadline day. It is past the 3 p.m. deadline, so you guys can comment as much as you want. We'll answer some of your questions. But let's just get right to it, and it's going to be highly Sixers based here today. I know that someone down in the bottom right corner of the screen is a little upset today and is a little upset by what the Miami Heat are doing. But again, I'll start with you.
Dives, we're not doing this, man.
Yeah, that come on, man. I love Dives, but Dives loves his second round picks too, and we greatly disagree there. But again, talk to me about the Sixers deadline. I know you're upset because we didn't get Kyle Lowry out of Toronto, but what were your overall takeaways from a Sixers standpoint?
That yesterday we would have won the same amount of playoff games that we would at this very moment right now. Yeah, George Hill's an upgrade in your backup. We talk about we want to shake off the ball a little bit, take some pressure on him, absolutely. He has good catch and shoot numbers, so it's not like we didn't get worse today by any means, obviously, you know what I mean? But I don't think this was a crazy addition, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. People didn't want to move Lowry. They didn't want to give up the 19-year-old that isn't on the same timetable as the rest of your team. And they didn't want to give up the 34% three-point shooter or whatever he is at this point. But I like Matisse and I do like Maxey. I'm just speaking out of absolute crying because I wanted a Villanova player to finally grace the roster of the Sixers, but it just doesn't happen. But overall, I just saw a lot of teams get better today, and I don't think we did. So, all
right. George, talk to me about from a Sixers perspective before we get into what other teams did. What did the Sixers do today? Did they get better? Are they the same? You know, what else needs to happen?
From a Sixers perspective, they got better today. They did get better today. They got the guy. They could get off the bench. Stop giggling over there. They got a guy off the bench that they could use. You didn't have to give up a lot for him. You give up Bradley. Yeah, R.I.P. to him. Love that man. But
first of all, that's another thing I want to address right now. I don't want to hear any talk from the three of you, and I don't want to see any comments about how we're going to miss Tony Bradley. Okay? I don't want any of it. I will freak the F out if I see it.
No, like we got better today. Did we expect more to happen than just a George Hill pickup? Yeah, but yeah, we did get better today. Do I expect more to come? Yeah, I do. I don't think we're done adding, but I'm okay with adding George Hill to the bench. Like that's a completely fine thing for me to go out of the trade deadline with. Would I rather have had maybe Kyle Lowry or Oladipo? Hell yeah. But getting George Hill is a good addition for this team.
All right, Snap, what are your thoughts on how the Sixers and Daryl Morey, took care of business today?
Even though a lot of us were on the Kyle Lowry trade, we thought it was happening. A part of me always kind of thought that it wasn't going to be a big move going into the trade deadline. I said a couple of weeks ago I was really high on George Hill. I always thought George Hill just kind of made more sense. And I don't hate it. I really don't hate it at all. You improved your bench. You got a guy that can lead your bench, that can give Shake some minutes off the ball. He's a veteran. He's played in a lot of playoff games. I think it overall helps. I think it was a good trade deadline. Do I think it was great? No. We didn't get a huge piece. We got a good piece.
So I agree. And my whole stance and what I was trying to talk to Ginn about earlier, because he was sending me Drake songs and he was very in his feelings over not getting Kyle Lowry. My whole point was, look, is George Hill enough to move the needle? No, and I agree with you guys. I think they will do more. I think Daryl Morey will be active during the buyout market and add, whether it's a stretch big, a sharpshooter, a 3-and-D type of player to come off the bench in the postseason. I firmly believe that. However, when I look at just the George Hill move in its own, it's a good move. The question is, did the Sixers get better? Yes. George Hill coming off the bench to run that second unit. I believe he's played in 127 NBA playoff games. He can handle the ball. And Gant and I had a discussion yesterday on Shake Milton's kind of struggles throughout the season. And I don't think he's a true point guard. I think a lot of people, think that as well. And so now that you have a true point guard that can come in and run the offense and facilitate, now Shake can do his own thing and go be a bucket getter and can go, provide offense that way. George Hill's also shooting over 40% from three this season. He's a 50% catch and shoot shooter, so he can play off the ball. I do like the addition of George Hill. And then when you turn around and look what you got it for, that's the best part. You gave up a bucket of balls. You gave up no one that plays right now. Yes, Tony Bradley is currently playing because Joel Embiid is hurt. When Joel Embiid comes back, Tony Bradley will not see the light of day again unless it's in a blowout. So you gave up no one that plays, and you gave up future second-round picks, a 2025 second, a 2026 second, and there might have been a third second that got thrown in there like in the last minute. But you got better, and you gave up nothing to do so. So, yeah, I was happy with that particular move. Now we can talk about Kyle Lowry all show long, and I guess we can get into that now. And Snap, I'll throw this to you first. You kind of alluded like you thought you wanted it to happen like everyone else, but you kind of thought it was never going to. How did you feel this morning? Because I don't know, like you and I were saying, I kept refreshing Twitter over and over and over again for hours.
Yeah.
Also on TV, Windhorst, and I know it's Windhorst, it's not Woj or Shams, but Windhorst is saying that it's the Sixers and the Lakers, and that the Sixers are, there's a tweet sent out that the Sixers are on the 1 yard line. They're bet like they could punch it in soon. They're just like trying to, however, you got to tip your cap to Daryl Morey for not, giving up everything. That's too much. And again, if Danny Green's not thrown in it, maybe not. But if Danny Green's thrown in that trade, it's definitely too much. So Snap, just tell me how you were feeling this morning, thinking that we were kind of going to get Kyle Lowry. And does the letdown of not getting him kind of attribute to you not being just, happier on today's trade deadline?
Yeah, so I kind of had two moods scrolling through Twitter all day. Like you said, me and you were both glued to our phone. Yeah. I tweeted glued to my phone. The first in less than 5 seconds was you. I felt like I was sitting next to you.
I'm going like this.
Yeah, I was just scrolling up and down. But yeah, when it seemed like it was happening, and you seen those tweets we're on the 1 yard line, it's gonna get done. I was sitting there, I was excited. You can't not be excited about making a move like that. You're adding an all-star caliber player that's been to the playoffs, who's won a championship, who's from the area, who went to Villanova, blah blah blah. There's a story arc to it. Everything would have been awesome. Kyle Lowry's from Philly. He went to Nova. He's gonna come here. We're gonna win the chip. It's gonna be a fairy tale ending for Kyle Lowry. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great for all of us. But when I started seeing what they wanted, because they started diving into why it wasn't getting done between Miami and us, it came down to for Miami, Tyler Herro, and for us, it came down to Kyle Lowry. Matisse Thybulle. And when I saw Matisse plus Maxey plus the 2 first, and then probably Danny Green and someone else, it was more on the line of I don't care about the picks and Maxey, but to give up Thybulle, you're already weak at the 4 moving forward,
right.
Even right now, and even at center right now. So if you were going to do that deal, it seemed like you were going to be really thin at wing too. And the biggest thing when the Sixers had going for us was defense. So once I started seeing Thybulle had to be included, I kind of understood that it wasn't happening. And then that idea just got reinforced once George Hill trade happened. When the George Hill trade happened, I really didn't see it happening at all. And I got a little sad because, George Hill isn't Kyle Lowry. But like I said just a couple minutes ago, it was a good day for the Sixers. It wasn't a great day.
Right. And it was just a very emotional roller coaster. And again, I'm sending this down to you now. My whole point about it being emotional is the fact, we just talked about, you're rumored to be on the 1 yard line. You're about to punch the ball across and get Kyle Lowry. Then you go and make the move for George Hill. And we kind of all thought that's it. They're not getting Lowry. And then they come back out in the last 20 minutes or so and say, Philly is not out of it. The Heat go and get Oladipo at 3 o'clock. And you're like, oh man, it's all sort of Lakers. And then you find out he's staying. So that has to be attributing to your emotions today, because you've been on fire in the group chat.
Bro, I woke up at 5 a.m. today. First thing I did was look up Kyle Lowry and Joel Embiid picture, tweet it out. I said it to every person I knew. I was like, I'm all in. Put the chips all in the middle. Let's do it. Like, and then we're on the 1 yard line. I'm like, I tell work, I was like, I'm gonna take my lunch now. Like, I'm sitting there on my phone, like, come on, please. We're on the 1 yard line. Like, the 1 yard line's this far. Yeah. Let's get this thing in the end zone, man. Come on. And then it doesn't happen. And then the only person I've talked about since we've been talking about trades is that I didn't want George Hill, and he was like the least amusing name to me.
He's just not that exciting when you think about it. I think
he's played 14 games this season. He hasn't played since January 24th. Like, I'm cool. Sorry. Like, didn't he tear a ligament in his shooting thumb?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful. No, I mean, dude, just the Brian Windhorst must have like had a camera on me looking at my reactions all day. But
Gint took his lunch break because I texted him the 1 yard line tweet.
I was like, dude, I'm out. I gotta go.
And then he said he wasn't going back into work until they had him. All right, George, you talked to me about, let's see. Justin, I heard. Yeah, they're not comparable. One is 1,000 times better than the other. Actually. But my point is, like, I'm happy with the George Hill move. It just, if it were to be Kyle Lowry, I would have been happier. George, talk to me about, the Kyle Lowry state. Does that play a factor in a lot of people's emotions today? Because, like, literally our first comment before we even go live, Steven, Morry flopped. Like, a lot of people are unhappy, and I think that has a lot to do with it. So what's your thoughts on missing out on Kyle Lowry? Was Daryl Morey correct in doing so, not giving Toronto what they wanted? Talk to me about that.
Not getting Kyle Lowry definitely attributes to how everyone's feeling right now. Like no doubt. I mean, everyone came in today thinking Kyle Lowry, we're getting a good piece. We're getting a superstar piece, a guy that won a chip, the veteran from Philly. Like Snap said, like everything is going to piece together and we're going all in and we're going to win this year. And then we end up grabbing George Hill. So it's like, obviously that attributes to everything.
Sure.
I'll say I'm happy that we added a piece and we didn't have to give up like anything.
You gave up a bag of balls, dude.
Like people were pretty like I saw some people upset about giving up Tony Bradley. Like that has nothing.
My God, that is my issue with some of this fan base, dude. And people are like, he's been like, and then I'm listening to like Sports Talk Radio. He's been playing really good.
He's a net positive, dude. He's a net positive, bro.
Are you kidding me?
Is Tony Bradley giving you any?
Who's putting these up?
Justin.
Oh, dude, I was like, I didn't see you clicking anything. I was like, who's doing this?
Yeah, like this is my point. The two second rounders to OKC are in 2025 and 2026. They're like middle schoolers.
It's nothing. And like, is Tony Bradley giving you playoff minutes? No. Is George Hill going to give you playoff minutes? Like, hell yeah, of course he is. So I'm glad we added. I'm glad we did not subtract. Would I rather have Kyle Lowry on this roster right now? Yeah, we would be insanely ecstatic. This whole fan base would be going nuts, but we didn't get him, and but we are better today than we were yesterday. That's
Dives has some George Hill versus Kyrie Irving stuff.
Well, we found Kyrie's kryptonite now. Never mind.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Wait, hold on. Where is it?
No,
versus Kyrie.
Hold on. This is something I want to get to too for all the people that are giving me Gint vibes from an hour ago. Come on, man. Are we being serious? He's going to be a backup point guard off their bench. What do you want him to like? George Hill isn't leading the team. So what did George Hill do in the playoffs with LeBron in Cleveland?
Yo, he really has been traded at the deadline. Like,
yeah, a lot.
I feel bad for players
he
like
just
that.
never wins. I mean, I'm not saying we're not going to win, but it really does seem to never win the finals.
Like, but I'm confused. it's funny how people forget. What did they forget? He's a role player on those teams.
It's really not a big loss. I know people love Tony
It's
Bradley.
not a loss at all. There was no loss.
We lost nothing. Tony Bradley's not getting any playoff minutes.
And the biggest thing that people are talking about Tony Bradley right now is, what are we doing? What are we doing for the next couple games without Embiid? It's like, bro, it's Tony Bradley, man. Like, you're just gonna play small off the bench for a little bit. Like, Embiid should be back in a week. Like, you're really fine,
That's
man.
another thing. The move definitely tells you. The move tells you that Joel Embiid is closer to getting back than people know. Like, they would have pulled this trigger if he was 2+ weeks away.
It also shows you how good Daryl Morey is at his job, capitalizing on 5 games of success that Tony Bradley's had and flipping it into an asset that improves the team.
Right.
Like, you took an asset that you traded. You traded what? I can't even remember his name. Who did we?
Cousins?
No.
I think that's who they won, or did we get him?
That's 3 straight.
I love Justin. Justin's plugging the hell out of himself right now. I love it.
You guys can follow Justin if you don't follow on Twitter.
The idea of
now Cousins is washed. Oh my god!
I don't care if he's washed. He'd be the third center off the bench. Like, who cares? Like, adding DeMarcus Cousins is a plus. It's a plus. Because the whole idea is that people are upset about Tony Bradley. You really didn't. You got him for nothing. You got Tony Bradley for absolutely nothing this offseason, and you turned him into George Hill at the trade deadline. That is awesome. Like, that is awesome. Like,
did they get Boogie?
No, there's no way.
No, it was just I don't think so. No. It just gets commented on every single thing, like all 3. So it looks like,
oh my god, they just commented from all 3 platforms.
I think it goes out at once when you comment.
Still, that's kind of crazy. That was like, oh shit.
Are we going to talk about?
We need to talk about what everyone else did. If anyone got vastly better.
All right, this is really tripping me out. You guys can talk about Victor Oladipo because I have some stats I'm going to pull up real quick.
I'm just not.
We got to talk about
first because I'm the opposite of the 3 of you. I get it. Miami got better. There's no questions about it. They didn't give up much at all for Victor Oladipo, and now they're probably going to go get LaMarcus Aldridge in the buyout market, not have to give anything up for him. I get it. They're getting better. Miami's, doesn't faze me. Like, it doesn't faze me. They got lucky in the bubble last year. They got lucky. They weren't a finals team last year, and they weren't. They got lucky in the bubble. Then they come out this year. They suck in the beginning of the year. They've been hot for a little bit until they get thumped 2 nights ago by the Suns, and now they go out and make this move.
Team in the East.
Sure, but everyone's talking about how hot they are. Okay, the Sixers have won 9 of 10. The Nets haven't lost.
The thing with the Miami Heat is they're hot. They're winning just as many games as the top teams in the East. And they're probably going to add LaMarcus Aldridge. They just added Oladipo, who are both improvements.
And Belicia.
We can agree with. And Belicia, a guy I think we can all say we were kind of hoping was there at the buyout market. That these are 3 players that improve them, maybe not immensely, but they improve them very much. And they're still a hot team, and they gave up nothing for them. They gave up nothing for Victor Oladipo. We're talking about a bucket of balls. They gave up absolutely nothing. They gave up Avery Bradley, an acquisition from the offseason, who hasn't played for him all year. They gave up Kelly Olynyk, who's basically been obsolete ever since they got Robinson on the team. And they gave up a pick swap. They didn't even give up a fucking pick. They gave up a pick swap. Now they're about to go get LaMarcus Aldridge for basically free. They're not giving up anything for him. And what did they give up for Belicia? A 40% 3-point shooter and a stretch 4? What did they give up for him to replace Kelly Olynyk's minutes? I think he's shooting 40% from 3. They vastly got, not vastly, but they got better. And they're right there at the 4th seed right now. So to say that you can't be worried about Miami, it's a little bit of a stretch.
That wasn't my issue. My issue was the guy down there in the pink T-shirt calling this day the biggest L ever for the Sixers, and how
I said it was a major
today's an L. You said today was an L.
Yeah, major L. Yeah,
compared to Miami, I'd say yes. Compared to Miami, Yes.
Dude, but you can't control what the Miami Heat are going to do. You didn't lose anyone to them.
Here's why. You're not listening. So the biggest thing with them getting Oladipo was having to give up some youth or something. Like whether it was Duncan Robinson, they weren't going to give up Tyler Hero, but to give up something.
Why would they
give up nothing?
They gave up nothing. And now they're talking about they're going to sign him to a monster deal. You're going to sign LaMarcus Aldridge as well.
They were going to do that anyway in the summer, so he got there 2 months quicker. Why would the Heat give up Duncan Robinson or anything? He was going there in August, in July.
This year, we want to win this year, right?
So, timeout. You're looking me in the eyes and telling me that Victor Oladipo is now going to be the reason the Sixers don't win this year.
No. It gives them a better chance at losing.
That's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the Sixers.
Felicio Oladipo.
You're worried about the Sixers. We didn't get Victor Oladipo.
Oh my God.
The Heat have gotten better. That's the biggest thing here. This is a team that, regardless if you want to say it was the bubble or not, they made it to the finals. When this team is playing really well, they can beat just about anyone. They've proved it. They've proved it. When this team is fully healthy and they're playing out of their mind, they have great coaching, they got a great culture, and they have the right amount of talent at every level. Their role players are solid, their all-stars are solid, their defense is solid, and their offense is solid. When this team is hot, they are a threat to anyone in the league. And I don't care what anyone says, it's just a fact. They just know how to play with each other, and they're a tough team to beat. So now they got they have one player right now that they got. They got rid of Olynyk in the deal for Oladipo, basically replaced Olynyk in less than a second by getting Bjelica, and now they're about to get a former all-star power forward who does nothing but add more depth and offense to this team.
My point is, when I've talked about Bjelica coming to the Sixers, people have told me, well, does that really matter because he's not going to be able to play really in the playoffs?
I never said that. I think Bjelica would have been a great pickup because he's a 40% shooter, and he comes off your bench, and he does a lot for you just by shooting the ball. But that's how Miami thrives too. They have all-star players like Bam and like Jimmy who don't really shoot the three all the time, but they surround them with good shooting, and that's how they win. We saw it last year. So now they're just reinforcing this idea and they're going to add another all-star caliber player, and they just added one in the trade deadline. They got better. It's just a fact. If the Sixers end up the first seed and in the second round we got to run into Miami at the fourth seed, I'm not a fucking happy camper. I'm not a happy camper. I do not want to play that team in the playoffs because they prove they're tough. They prove they're gritty. And it's a 7-game. It may not be a 7-game series, but it could go 7 games against a team like that. They're a good team, man. They have good.
But that's not my point. And Victor Oladipo just isn't an all-star anymore. He's not.
But now he doesn't have to be. He's playing next to Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. And if LaMarcus Aldridge is there, you got 2 former all-stars that do nothing but help. Plus,
see how it works first. It's
gonna work right. Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. He's made teams that no business of getting to the playoff teams.
I get it.
It's just something you have to think about. I think if you could name one winner at the trade deadline this year, it's the Miami Heat.
Sure, and the Bulls had a nice day. The Magic are selling. I get it. I like what Denver did, adding Aaron Gordon. I think it's a good fit there. I get all that. What I'm talking about is just, I don't know. Like when it hit, I was just like, okay. Like if we would have lost Kyle Lowry to Miami,
it's different.
I would have been like, damn, that blows. They traded for Oladipo, and I'm just like, okay, he's a nice player. Miami's
got Lowry.
What?
I would have rather of them had to give up some pieces and get Lowry, bro.
Yeah, because then they lose probably Robinson and Hero.
They weren't giving up Hero.
They kept both of those guys in an Oladipo trade. Like, whoever is in charge of the Rockets right now needs to be fired, like we were saying before the show, because they did an awful job this offseason or during the season making trades ever since Morry left. They just basically hit it a former all-star, regardless if he's played good or not, regardless of it. Now he doesn't have to have that weight on his shoulder. Like he's playing next to Jimmy Butler. And him and Jimmy Butler are kind of like very similar players. They're dogs. They like playing both sides of the ball.
We'll see. Go ahead, George.
I think I'm kind of on like both your guys' sides. Because like Oladipo, Aldridge, Bjelica, it makes the Heat better. It makes them deeper. But we still beat them in a 7-game series. Does it take a little bit more effort, a little bit more, maybe like 6 games to beat the Heat? Yeah, but I still cannot see the Heat beating us in a 7-game series. With the rosters we have right now, add Belicia, add Oladipo, add Aldridge, doesn't matter. Like, we still beat that team in 6. Right?
People said that last year though too, before they made their run.
All right, I'll say
bubble or not.
We're 31-13 right now. We got better today. We could have got a lot more better. We didn't. We didn't subtract any pieces. We added a good piece for the bench. The Heat are good. The Heat were hot, but they lost 4 in a row now or something?
Yeah, 4 in a row. Yeah.
So like
your man's in the comments. Fine.
I'm not really I'm not as scared as the Heat as
No, and my whole point is Morry's not done. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know.
You're scared of South Beach. I get it. Go ahead.
That's the point. Is you didn't let me give me my point. You just interrupted me. The point is, my big thing was people were getting better. Boston traded 2 second-round picks, got Evan Fournier.
That's a great move.
I probably would have liked that over George Hill.
Yeah, same. I would have loved that over
All of a sudden,
George Hill.
Victor Oladipo is not good. Victor Oladipo this season is averaging 20 points a game on 36% from 3, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. And I said a couple weeks ago, I would have much rather Karis LeVert than Victor Oladipo. Don't get me wrong, but like, they were going to get him. They were going to get him in the summer. That's fine. Get him in the summer.
It's different. It's different now. We're trying to win now, right?
But
Victor Oladipo doesn't stop you from winning now. That's why I'm getting paid. Like, he doesn't stop you this year.
That's not what we're saying.
Yes, you just did. We're trying to win now. Him going there has nothing to do with us not winning.
I would have rather had him in Houston and not had to worry about him this season.
Yeah, that's the bottom line right there. It sucks that he's here, and it sucked that he went to a team that is really hot and can be very dangerous in a playoff situation. That's what sucks. I'm not saying we're fucked. I'm not saying the Sixers are doomed. I'm not saying we blew the trade deadline. I'm just saying Miami got better, and it sucks. It sucks. They added a 20-point scorer to a team that is already hot.
That's fine. And I said it's a nice addition. My point was, like, people are freaking the F out over this move, and I just it doesn't do that for me. That's my whole point.
Maybe I'm not freaking. Maybe people aren't freaking. I won't say people are freaking out just about Oladipo. It's the fact that right after the trade deadline, you got the notification to your phone that they're going to add LaMarcus Aldridge. It just sucks. It sucks because another thing that a lot of people are kind of pissed off about. I mean, at least me, is I almost thought for sure JJ Redick was coming back to Philly, and that's not happening. That's another big name off the trade deadline.
For a second, though, I don't know why. I don't know how that happened.
Did Dallas traded, I think it was a second, and James Johnson to get him because everyone knew he wasn't going to be available if he got bought out because he was either going one or two places. He was probably either coming to Philadelphia, and I only say that because if you watched his podcast, the old guy in the 3 or whatever it's called, he had Tobias Harris on last week, and Tobias Harris and him were making jokes that seemed like they've been communicating leading up to the trade deadline. Or he was going to Brooklyn, which no one wanted to see. So Dallas made a move and added shooting to put around Luka because they kind of were missing it ever since Seth Curry left. So but at the end of the day, a guy like Belicia and a guy like JJ Redick getting traded instead of hitting the buyout market, it sucks. Yeah, thank you.
I like the move for Dallas. I think it's a great fit.
I think it's a great fit too, but it would have been a great fit for us at the trade at the buyout.
Yeah, market. I wanted it. What else took place today, Gint?
We brought up Vucevic. I thought that was a really good move for Chicago.
I think that's a great move.
I wish they could have got I wanted Lonzo Ball, but
how about Lonzo?
I think if they got Lonzo.
Dude, Josh Hart tweeted something at the deadline too. It said like he didn't seem like he was happy, and I think it was because the Pelicans didn't move Lonzo, and didn't they say they informed him like they were ready to move on from him? And so.
I think if Lonzo had went to Chicago would have easily jumped into the top 5 in the East. I think that team.
I think they're better now.
I think Vucevic on that team puts them because right now they're the 10th seed.
Yeah, I think they're playoff.
Vucevic on that team puts them into the playoffs.
I agree.
But Lonzo Ball jumping on that team puts them into maybe not a contender, but definitely one of the top teams in the East because that's a nice backcourt right there.
Yeah.
What did that say?
Sorry, I'm looking at some of these comments here.
Yeah, we got a couple of donations too. We probably should have read them out.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Oh yeah, is that what that means?
Yeah,
Yeah,
keep those
I thought
stim-
people were just commenting $1.99. Oh, thank you guys. That's
Mike Weary, the GOAT, gave us a donation. There was
Yeah.
another way up there at the beginning of the show.
we gotta
Appreciate
sorry about
it.
that. We'll start giving you guys shout outs for stuff
Yeah.
like that. We should be bringing up your
I've
comments.
just been way too fired up.
Victor Oladipo.
There was a comment actually up, and I'd have to go way up to find it now. Well, one of the things when we were talking about emotions and Kyle Lowry and the up and down today, and why it kind of felt like a letdown to some people a little bit, was also the fact, like, just the trade deadline as a whole. Kyle Lowry didn't even get moved. Lonzo Ball didn't get moved. Laurie Markkinen, after the George Hill thing, I was like, and then they got Vucevic. I'm like, and people were saying that's not going to fit. I'm like, Daryl, get on the phone.
Yeah.
And then he didn't get moved. Brogdon was a name that got thrown out there. He didn't get moved. A lot of guys just stayed pat. And I feel like it was just I don't know, just kind of a letdown once 3 p.m. hit and nothing really happened. I think that also played a factor into people, over or underreacting.
There was no big move this trade deadline. And usually there is because it's the NBA. And I don't care what anyone says. The trade deadline and free agency for the NBA is probably the most entertaining out of all the sports and the big four sports. By far. By far.
Agree.
Yeah.
Billy. Go again. Sorry. No, go again. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, because I see Mark just commenting, saying, like, whatever comes to his mind. But not wanting Kyle Lowry to me, and not saying if you value Danny Green, who is really important to this team 100%, and you didn't want to give him and Thibault because of wing defender, absolutely. But to me, if you would have got that, then you hit the buyout market for a wing defender, because I've talked about it all year. There's so many good wings in the Eastern Conference that you need to be able to defend wings. Like, you had a chance to hit a home run, in my opinion. Maybe you didn't either. Maybe they were asking for even more than that. So, but I just don't want to hear in like 2 months, like, oh, the Sixers could have had Lowry.
Yeah.
They chose not to make the move for the 19-year-old and the 24-year-old.
Abe Lincoln brings up a good point. Bring that comment up.
Abe's a goat.
That's a good point. That thinking of it that way is a great way to look at it. Miami, Boston, and Chicago teams made big moves because they needed to. We really didn't. We're number one in the East for a fucking reason, guys. Let's all remember that. We've been kicking ass and taking names all year, and I don't think that's gonna change.
That's to my point why I was like today, like the first move for George Hill is a good move. I'm just convinced that that's not it. Trade deadline's obviously over. I'm convinced that buyout market, something is happening for the Sixers team, and another player or two are going to be in this playoff rotation.
Maybe Clarence Ross.
He's they have
He's
to
like
be
the only guy that basically didn't get out of Orlando.
Yeah, they have to be buying him. Terrence Ross.
Yeah, dude. I hope so.
If they buy out Terrence Ross, he needs to be like the number one target.
I thought they were
just so you know, Furkan doesn't get minutes. Shout out to Nadir. I had to throw a little shot. I was just playing.
How did Mike Scott survive another trade deadline?
Purge. Yeah. He survived the purge.
Can we buy him?
Because he ain't no bitch.
Can we get him out of here, please?
Yeah.
I've seen that tweet. That was great.
Brian Jacobs.
Brian's always got great tweets.
We should, because I think
not having it.
That the Sixers are still really good, and I think people are starting to think that I think the Sixers aren't now not contenders because of this. Like, I don't think that number one. We were number one in the East with Tony Bradley. Just because we lost Tony Bradley, we're not going to not be the number one team in the East. You know what I mean? But I woke up expecting a home run.
Yeah. And our center tonight, the White's most likely going to start, I would imagine.
They're going to run small. And if another thing you guys got to realize, the move to trade Tony Bradley also gives a guy like Paul Reed minutes now. Like, he just had a fantastic bubble for the G League. Why not see what he is, especially since, you drafted him this year? Let's get this guy some real NBA minutes. He won Rookie of the Year and MVP in the G League. I get it. It's the G League. But why not see what he can be, Yeah. He's going to get run.
George Hill hurt. I mean, he has been.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he can come back soon.
George Hill will be fine.
Yeah.
George Hill will be fine.
Apparently to Seidel or Sedal, I don't get it. The Heat just became a championship contender. It wasn't my point. First of all, Second of all, even if you want to say they are, the Sixers are a championship contender as well. So no, I'm not going to be shaking because they got Victor Oladipo. I'm sorry. Let's see. George, you've been quiet up there. Is there anything? What else do you want to get to from today's NBA trade deadline and Sixers?
I mean, who are we really expecting in the buyout period? Like that, like that's like kind of a big thing. Yeah, Terrence is cool. Do we expect anyone else like big to be bought out that could add depth to this team?
I think some of the bigger names that we expected to be out in the buyout market, like Belicia, JJ Redick. I mean, they're not big names, right? But they're like the players you aim for.
Guys that will actually help this team.
The biggest names now are LaMarcus Aldridge and Andre Drummond, and we know they're not coming here. I mean, if they brought, I don't think they have a shot at either one of them.
Maybe Whiteside.
Stop it.
I need a stretch four, or a 3-and-D.
Maybe I hate to say this. Maybe Kelly Olynyk gets bought out.
Yeah. This is what I want to say. So Justin's got this up on the scrin, and I see
Justin with
a comment already here. Start B-ball Paul. I want people to please pump the goddamn brakes. Okay. Like all due respect to B-ball Paul and our blue coats. Okay. I said it the other day. Do I think he could give you more than what Mike Scott can give you on an NBA floor right now? Yeah, probably a little bit. But I'm not relying on the G League MVP to come in and play valuable minutes and boost this team's championship projections. Okay. That's all I wanted to say. And I know a lot of it's great. It's great. And he could turn into a player.
Good young player that has a lot of upside. He's very athletic, and he can do a lot of things you want to see from a guy with high potential.
Right. But he ain't doing a damn thing right now. A little more than Mike Scott. But he ain't coming in and winning you.
I don't even know about that. At least I can count on Mike Scott to hit a wide open three. I don't know if B-ball Paul is doing that yet.
If I see Mike Scott chalk up another three, I'm turning the TV off. My man does not hesitate to shoot it. No, I know you meant for tonight's game, but even so, I just don't want that.
Do you think they'll start Paul Reed tonight?
No.
I don't think so.
They'll start? You think they'll start Dwight?
I think Dwight's starting, and then Snap said they're going to go small, and Scott and I'm not saying you. Yeah, you could see Paul Reed tonight for a little bit.
How many players do you have active tonight?
I'd say basically most of the roster. The most of the roster that's been playing, minus Embiid
and Tony Bradley.
Yeah. So you'll probably see Mike Scott playing a little small ball.
That's another thing, because I just saw a Raptors comment down here. What did they trade all those last 2 or 3 guys at the end of their roster? To me, that was speaking.
They were nobodies. It was just stupid.
But my point was I thought they were trading them for second round picks. So
yeah.
I thought they were opening up roster spots.
My guess is just in case a trade did happen.
Yeah.
They just wanted to be ready. I would say, just in case Miami finally caved and was like, "Fuck it, we'll give you Harrow." Okay.
Yeah.
Because that would have been Robinson and Harrow's spot, my assumption, and then whatever other players they traded to make the money work.
This is a great point too, and that's again, it's the Kyle Lowry factor that I think is clouding a lot of that. That today was actually a good thing. He says, "Have we forgotten all we needed to do was improve our bench, right? Did that happen? Yes. Next, it's the buyouts." So that's my point. It's only the first move of 2, and I think there's 1 or 2 more coming to improve this bench unit. Because I've said this to you before. I am as high on the Sixers team as anyone, dude. Get knows that. You guys know that. However, they can't go into the playoffs with the current bench. Mike Scott getting run, he cannot touch the floor in the postseason. So stretch big is still something that needs to, be on Daryl Morey's radar. And I think it will be. And just the fact that after the George Hill move was made, you heard a lot of people on Twitter saying the Sixers aren't done. So yeah, nothing happened today, but maybe that's because Morey realizes, or that he doesn't need to give up any assets for something that someone or a player that he's been eyeing. But yeah, I don't know.
But the thing that we should really be the only thing about the trade deadline that I'm the buyout market that I'm worried about now is who's really going to be there for us? Because we all know what is left to add to this team. It's either wing help or bench 4 help.
Right, stretch bench.
And I just don't see where that's going to come from in the buyout market now that like a guy like Belizzi is gone. Like we said, maybe Terrence Ross becomes available. I wouldn't mind that, obviously. But when it comes to the 4,
Yo, please do this. He said, "Do you think Matt would be mad if I bought him a George Hill jersey?"
I have something in my eye.
And he said, "I'll pay shipping."
Right when it happened, I the voice memo you can send on like an iPhone.
Yeah.
Do we see all these people getting traded and we just got the worst player out of all of them? And my buddy said, "What are you talking about? You just order your George Hill jersey."
I'm trying to see if anything.
Boogie's a really good name, and Justin has said it time and time again here, but I don't see it. I don't.
So Woj tweeted something 17 minutes ago.
I think it was
in making trade offers for Kyle Lowry, teams had to take into consideration whether he would turn out to be a rental for the season or if they would be able to meet his contract expectations to stay in free agency. That impacted how far teams were willing to go.
Yeah.
So obviously, pretty obvious, but my point is so thank God, I would have been okay with the first rounders and like a Maxey and, you take the chance on Lowry and then hopefully he resigns. But if he doesn't, we'll see. But with the Matisse factor and all that, no. This is a name. Yeah, I am assuming this dude's on the buyout market.
That's a name I'm interested in. I don't think he's like a amazing game changer, but that's a guy I would not mind having on the team.
Shooter off the bench.
We talked about Wayne Ellington, didn't we, last pod?
Yeah.
This ain't what this is where we get a new guy and people try to get too excited. He's not, but not just that.
He can probably lock Kyrie up.
He's hardly ever I'm not saying he won't be on the floor the same time as Kyrie, but our bench units are going to be fluxed with their bench units for the most of the time. Okay, that's my point. It's going to be Ben, Matisse, Danny, Toby playing against KD, Harden, Kyrie, those guys. George Hill, yeah, he'll see a little bit of run on the floor against Kyrie maybe, but it's going to be against Brooklyn's backups most of the time when he's on the floor. That's my point.
George Hill's got fresh legs, though, so he might be able to
he's got really fresh legs.
Him up. Yeah, he hasn't played in 3 months.
Wayne Ellington shoots really well from the top of the key.
He has just mid-range jumpers, I see.
Those are crazy numbers. That's like every analytic guy's dream right there. Shoots really well from 3 and right under the basket, but anywhere in between that space does absolutely nothing.
Tell him, Abe. I was never on board. Great day today.
Yeah, right. Yeah, effing right. Did I see Seth Carey's back tonight? I have no idea.
He might be, but I don't know.
Wait, is Danny Green playing? He was questionable yesterday.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's playing now.
Yeah, he's all right. Before we get out of here, I just have 2 plugs here at the end of today's show because we kind of ran through most of the trade day. But tonight at 7:30, wherever you're watching now, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, come join me, Gint, and my man Scotty as Tyrone Johnson of 97.5 The Fanatic and Sixers Outsiders joins us to talk about today. Not long, just 15, 20 minutes. And you guys can ask him any questions and we'll try to get them in for you. And then don't forget that the Painted Lines is brought to you now by XL Media. So here's a message from our sponsor. You guys do not want to miss out on this opportunity.
Hey, what's up, guys? March Madness is here. The NBA and NHL are both in full swing. Baseball opening day is coming up, while we here at the Painted Lines are devoted to bringing you top-notch content from all the major sports. We are excited to also now give you the opportunity to cash in on all that content and knowledge. If you follow the link below, you will have the opportunity to sign up with BetRivers, an online sportsbook, and get an instant new user deposit match of up to $250. That's free money that you can use and try to turn into more free money. Let's go. Don't sit there and waste all that money. turn every basket into an otherwise meaningless Cavs-Timberwolves matchup on a random Wednesday in March. That makes it all the more exciting. For betting tips and advice, be sure to check out written content from our top prognosticator, Money Max, on our website at thepaintedlines.com, or check out the Tough Cover podcast right here on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. You've seen the commercials all over TV and radio, but now is the time. Sign up today with BetRivers using the link below and start cashing in on your love for sports. Using the link below will automatically inform BetRivers that TPL sent you, and you'll get that new user deposit match of up to $250. Don't miss out on this opportunity for some free money, baby.
So there you guys.
I will be using that.
Go use that link.
You said free match me 250. Say less.
There you go. And there it is. Join us tonight at 7:30 at Ty Johnson News joins us. So that'll be a lot of fun. And before I get you guys out of here, again, George, Snap, do the Sixers continue their winning ways without Joel Embiid tonight in LA against the Lakers? Just give me your quick win or loss prediction.
Yes.
Any one of you.
Also, I think the spread's like 5 now. Just bet the Sixers. I mean, why not? You know,
Use that BetRivers money.
Go cash in.
That's how you plug right there. That's how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, use that BetRivers money, put that shit on the Sixers -5 or wherever it's sitting at now, and let's win some free money tonight.
Again, W.
Yeah, but I'm not watching.
Why?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, like 115 to 101, something like that. It's not going to be close, in my opinion.
You're the worst, bro.
Sorry.
Snap. Do the Sixers win tonight?
On a normal night, no, but yes, because the Lakers are more banged up than us, and we have all-stars playing. They have Dennis Smith-Schroeder playing. So, yep. I said Dennis Smith-Schroeder.
Yeah, Dennis Schroeder.
Got Dennis Smith on the line. All right.
For myself, for Gint, for George, for Snap, you could follow us on Twitter at FaithfulFans2. And don't forget to come back tonight wherever you're streaming us right now while Tyrone Johnson joins us. That'll be a lot of fun. Have a nice
Sign
night,
up for
everybody.
BetRivers. Sign it up.
Yes, sir. Go Sixers. Ring the bell. Phillies opening day is like a week away.